Hey guys, it's Drew. I wanted to do a quick video blog, and today I wanted to address a topic called white supremacy. The reason why I wanted to address this is because very often I get accused of supporting or encouraging or making excuses for this thing that people say that is affecting their lives negatively and is the dominant force that is influencing their lives in the direction that their lives go. So I wanted to address it, and first off, let me start by saying that I don't believe that it exists. I think it only exists in a negative mindset, and in the negative minds of people who look for any kind of excuse and look for any kind of reason as to why they can't move forward. It provides a convenient template for people who feel marginalized and who feel beaten down. It provides a convenient template for them to say, I can't move forward because of this, or I can't advance because of this. Now, my reasoning on that is you can't attribute the success of Jewish people, the success of white people, the success of Asian people, the success of Indian people, or the success of even black people that do succeed. You can't attribute that to race. You can't, because race is not really a deciding factor. It's about methods. It's about techniques, and I'll go into deeper detail and explain this. White people are very good at running countries because they basically are I wouldn't say, I don't know if they're the founders of capitalism, but they are the best users of capitalism. Now, on a macro scale, capitalism allows countries to generate enough internal wealth to the point where they're able to then acquire resources, acquire military, and build themselves up to the point where they're able to defend themselves from outsiders and make themselves a dominant force. That's why China moved from communism to copying the capitalist engine that is the United States. Now, in most African countries, my parents were born in Nigeria. I've been to Nigeria many times. In most African countries, the culture tends to lean towards collectivism, and what happens is that in these countries, the citizens generally expect the government to do a lot for them. And the government ends up taking advantage of these citizens and putting them under their thumb. So the government ends up taking all the resources, and you basically can't get anything done without the government interfering. Now, some people may point out Aliko Dangote and Mike Adenuga, or other people who have succeeded in African nations, but you can't use those people because those people are enabled by the government to monopolize resources from those countries. So that's how this works, okay? It's not about white supremacy. It's not about culture as much as it is about method and technique. The techniques that Caucasians have used are techniques that if anybody was the first to the land, if anybody was the first to an area and wanted to build a nation and they use these techniques, they too would be successful. That's just what it is, So when people say the word white supremacy and what are you defending and what are you supporting, honestly, I just don't agree with it. It's just nonsense. It's total BS. They use these excuses as to say that they can't move forward, and it's nonsense, because if you can't move forward because you're dark skinned, there's no way that I would be able to move forward. There's just no way that I would be able to do it, and I'm able to do it. And here I am in the United States, I'm able to do it. So if I'm able to do it, then I think that you should be able to do it too. I mean, my color and my last name is African. It's never stopped me from moving forward. It's never hindered any kind of my relationships. It's really never stopped me from advancing. Because at the end of the day, I understand that we live in a capitalist system, and what this system respects and what this system, yields to is value. If you can provide value and you're competent, you will always move forward in this kind of a system. If you can't provide value and you're not competent and you don't provide the markets what it wants, you're never going to be able to move forward. That's not white supremacy. That's just being intelligent enough to know that you live and you exist in a system or a framework that has certain keys where you can open up the respective doors to getting what you want. That's all it is. Now, some people also may say, okay, police brutality. I've been over those statistics many times, okay? Like I said, if these things were happening at a rate of 70% or 80% or 60% or even 50 or 40%, I would be walking around with an M4 to protect myself because I'm a man of action, okay? The fact of the matter is, in my daily life, nothing shows me that police are brutalizing people like me. Nothing shows me that in my daily life. Another thing is that the statistics don't show that that's happening to us. So the statistics and my life reflect this fact. So why am I going to start walking around pointing an M4 at everybody that doesn't look like me, or hating everybody that doesn't look like me, if it's going to do more damage to me than the people I'm supposed to or I'm told to hate? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm refuting this point of white supremacy because it's just a logic. It's an emotional and it's a construct of the mind that is limiting. There is no benefit that you can get from having this construct in your mind that there is somebody holding you back because of the color of your skin. There's just no way you're going to progress. And in a nation like America, like the United States, a first world country where there's all this economic and capitalistic opportunity, you cannot afford, well, I mean, you can afford to have these limitations because the government will take care of you while you're being an activist and you're doing all these different things and protesting, you know, from your Apple phone, using your McDonald's and all your other capitalist inventions that, you know, seem to benefit you. So the government will protect you from these things. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to understand that this mindset is extremely, extremely, extremely limiting. It's not going to provide you openings for where you can make progress. In most cases, if you want to move forward in this life, I recommend you pick up an economics book. I recommend you take the Series 7 exam. You learn finance. You learn the stock market, because a lot of what goes on in the world is hidden in the stock market. I recommend that you gain control over your subconscious and over your mind, and you empower yourself on a daily basis. And you wake up with an attitude that you can do something, and you try to make your mark in this world in that aspect. That's how you move forward. That's how you make changes for the better. But adopting all this propaganda and this negative attitude, and you know, it's just funny because it's like, listen, I'm a very, very happy guy, okay? I've accomplished a lot. I walk around proud, and I'm not ashamed of my black skin. I'm not ashamed of my last name. I don't try to hide it ever. I've never had to do that. I walk around proud, and I walk around really happy, and yet I got people calling me a sellout and a coon. Like, if I had your misery, I wouldn't be asking somebody like me to join in misery. I'd be asking them, hey, how did you get so happy? How did you get to the point where these things are not a factor for you? How did you get to the point where you're thriving in a system that I think is supposed to be holding you down? That's what I'd be asking somebody. But instead, you guys are calling me a sellout and a coon. It doesn't make any sense, okay? The fact of the matter is, there are numbers, there's knowledge, there's a logic that works in this world, and there's a logic, and there's a mindset, and there's a mind frame that doesn't work in this world, okay? The theories of white supremacy that have made the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons and the Dr. Umar Johnsons and all these other people extremely wealthy off your misery is not going to make you wealthy unless you take the same route of preaching and amassing a bunch of people who are miserable and want to follow you in your misery. And that's the fact of the matter. That's all I wanted to say today. I don't think white supremacy is an issue. I don't think it exists. I think it's a mental illness that is upheld by people who have read and watched certain propaganda and looked for confirmation bias in their life to make excuses for why they can't move forward. And that's it. Have a wonderful day.